just enough.
Oh yeah.
To make it audible. That's
All right.
it.
This will be the spot right here. So, hey, what's up, guys? We're here with Matt Farah, about to do a live podcast here.
My podcast.
His podcast, and you guys get to tune in on my channel as well. So,
El Fortunato.
There we go.
So that's live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming on my YouTube channel.
All right. Well, now they get to wake. Well, we have to do an intro.
Yeah.
Introduction.
Introduction.
You want a water? You want water?
Yeah, almost done with this
take
one.
one.
The second one.
Take one
Back
water.
up.
Yeah.
They're not cold yet because Timmy just brought them in.
That's fine.
I was on vacation, so I wasn't copping water.
Yeah, I prefer room temperature, so.
You and my
Works out
girlfriend
Yeah.
are room temperature Nancy's, and
Yeah.
I didn't get one for myself after all
Water,
that.
no ice. That's the way to go.
Oh Jesus, that's all gone wrong. What up? What up? You ready, Timmy? Are we recording?
Speed.
Wait. How do I sound now? Because my arm had some sag in it. How about now? Does that sound better?
Sounded lovely.
Because it was like wah wah. For the live stream, that was a wah wah wah. All right. Good.
Good.
Sorry for making your live stream people wait. Yeah, recording. Here it is, Smoke and Tire Podcast. We back. I have been on the road, not even thinking about work for 14 days, and I have to be honest with you, it was fucking delightful. Absolutely delightful. I don't feel a hint of guilt about it. It was great. Luxury vacation across Europe, adventure drives, and back to work now. So we got a double header podcast coming to you today. We are going to start with an interesting discussion, hopefully, about radar detectors with Ariel Bravi of Vortex Radar. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Bienvenue.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome
We're
back.
welcome from Oktoberfest. Are you German?
I'm Chaman. I'm Mr. Chaman.
Are you German?
No, I took German in high school.
So you brought it with you.
I know a little bit. Ich habe alle mein Deutsch vergessen.
You would have done well in
Just
Oktoberfest.
make sure I can say that.
Oktoberfest is where all of that comes in very, very handy.
I believe it.
Although, frankly, beer is beer in both languages.
Were you in Munich or?
Yeah.
That's the place to be.
Oh, dude, Oktoberfest is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. We can talk about it later. Let's get into radar detectors first.
Sure.
So you're a radar detector enthusiast. So are you a scientist? Are you a tester?
Yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of fun. Everybody, they try to say, are you an expert? Are you a tester, scientist, all that kind of stuff. I just love them. My background?
Enthusiast. Radar detector enthusiast.
I love testing them, learning all about them, all the little nuances and details, figuring out how they work, what has the best performance, and just learning everything I possibly can about it. That's fun, and then just turning around and sharing everything.
What starts someone down the road of radar detector enthusiasm?
It's fun. I don't know. I love knowing what's going on around me. And
okay. A love of spatial awareness.
Yeah, exactly, which is fun. My background is engineering.
Okay.
So RF, radio, all that kind of stuff makes sense to me. And radar is just kind of a way to make that kind of tangible and useful in a way and really apply.
And money saving.
Exactly, which is great.
And license saving.
I'd rather put the money into detectors than into tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right. So you just was it like, you see the cannonball run and hear the word fuzzbuster and you go, I need to know about this.
It actually wasn't. I got into that afterwards. For me, it was just I want to feel comfortable when I'm driving. I love driving. I love road trips and not having to worry about tickets or what's going on. And so just to know what's going on around me is really enjoyable. And then I just got more peace of mind with the detectors or laser jammers or whatever.
Yeah, well, as a road trip enthusiast and veteran myself, there are how many times? The number of times I've been saved by. For me, I'll no money exchanged. I will plug Valentine 1. I'm a Valentine 1 loyalist.
Yep.
Although I hear, that the patent on the arrows expired, and now everyone's in the arrow game.
Yeah, the Max 360 has arrows.
Yeah.
There's a lot of remotes that do arrows, and it's awesome.
Back it up. Let's. I want to talk about the arrows. We'll get to that. But let's. I'm gonna let you tell the story of radar detectors and you guide this one because I don't even know necessarily what to ask you.
Yeah.
I have one. I know it was expensive compared to the rest of the ones in the market. I know it works, but let's go back. Mike Valentine. Maybe we can go back to that stuff and tell me about radar detectors.
Radar detectors in a nutshell. Yeah, they came out 20, 30 years ago. Cops started coming out with these huge radar guns just to clock people, give them speeding tickets, try to slow them down. And it's slowly evolved the kind of the cat and mouse game between.
What was the original radar detector? Do you know?
The Escort, Passport. I only got into this 5, 6 years ago.
So can you buy vintage ones and test? That should
Yeah.
be a good special.
I've
I
got,
would
like-
co-fund that.
I've got some like old like Cobra trap shooters, the old Escort Passport, like the old detectors. I've got some of the old radar guns with the massive antennas too.
Were the old radar
nowadays,
guns
but
with massive antennas more powerful, or were they just less efficient?
They were kind of both. They just huge output powers and very limited functionality, so they didn't have the ability to.
Like that? That's
yeah,
our OG?
just the
I used to have
old. Look
one.
at that, no digital display, just boop, light up light on the front.
That's great.
There's like nothing. Super simple. There you go. I think it was X-band and K-band only.
Is that early 80s?
Early,
That
yeah,
looks the
80s.
late 70s.
I never
early
even
80s.
used that one, like the old original Escort. Escort loves to plug it in their museum, but yeah, that's the old original Escort.
Well, didn't Mike Valentine work at Escort and design the original and design that or something like it?
Yeah, he actually used to work in both the companies, Mike Valentine's company and Escort, are in Cincinnati. So they were in Ohio working, and then Mike eventually split off and started his own company, the
Valentine One.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that. I remember
I
this
remember
one.
these
Yeah,
too.
this is
There we
the
go.
classic. Oh, Timmy, wrong one. But the one that where he just tried to pull up. I don't know who makes this one.
Yeah, that's I think the original Passport. That's
Is
also
it
an
the original
Escort.
Passport? All right.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to worry about the picture. If he gets it, he gets it. But
There it is,
that
yeah.
one is to me the most classic
Mhm.
original one with the series of red lights. That's it, but it's turned off in that picture, so you don't get the same effect as with the lights turned on. But yeah.
Yeah, and you get the ramp meter, so it tells you how strong the signal is visually, and
So the early ones were pretty much just radar, no radar.
pretty much. And there weren't really any sources of false alerts to deal with as much. Like
And
now,
Were those did they have all three bands at that point?
no, they started off with X-band, so huge antennas, and then they started moving to like smaller antennas, take
Yeah.
up less space on the dashboard, so they switched to K-band.
Okay, so now we have three bands, X, K, and KA.
We do.
So if you have any radar detector that's worth its ass, it's going to detect all three of these.
Yeah, and everything nowadays will.
We'll do all three. And in fact, I can talk about it with the Valentine one. Sometimes you want to filter out a lot of that.
Yeah.
But can you give me a rundown of the differences in the three bands?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just different frequencies, kind of like if you've got your radio and you're changing to different stations. They're just different frequencies, and it's kind of the same idea. They're different frequencies, so different wavelengths. X band is like 10 gigahertz. K band is 24. Ka is like 33 to 36 gigahertz.
So it's just letter representing number of hertz.
Different
That's it.
frequencies, and
Okay.
that's good information because you can kind of tell if it's real or if it's false a lot of times. based
Well,
on
for
that.
sure. I mean, I don't know about, where everyone necessarily who would listen to this lives, but like here in LA as well as most metropolitan areas. So for me, one of the best things about the Valentine 1 radar detector is you can deactivate those bands individually.
That's awesome.
And it's like, you don't have to plug the thing into a computer, you don't have to do it over Bluetooth even, like, it's got one knob, and you can
Yep.
do it on the knob, and like, if you just go on the website, and you can do it in 8 seconds if you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah, know what you're doing implies there's skill. If you read the stupid procedure, which you can do it. Yeah, there's the headline image.
Oh yeah, that's my
it.
YouTube
Just
video on
pull
how
that
to
up.
program it. Yeah.
So Valentine 1, which we can go right to the Valentine 1, and then you can tell me about all the other radar detectors.
Sure.
To me, this is the seminal radar detector. This is the one
awesome.
where if you want the solid, it's the Corvette Z06 of radar detectors, if you will, reliable, dependable.
It is.
Maybe a little low tech, but the arrows. This was the first and only one to show you the direction of your assailant. What word do we use?
Call it maybe
Bogey?
location of the threat.
The threat.
if you will.
Yeah.
Where is
yeah.
the radar source located?
Yeah. So I love the V1 because it's got a great range and the arrows. If you've got a weak signal behind, that's not a stand on the brake. It speaks a language to you.
It does. Like when you can understand the V1 and what it's saying based on the strength of the signal, the arrows, when you can speak the V1, it's better than anything else out there.
Yeah, and for how many, almost 20 years, maybe even more than 20
25
years,
years,
they
something
had
like that.
the only arrows. That was it.
Yeah.
And so for me, and you can manually, so in LA, or for me, I use it all over the country, but I deactivate the X and the K bands. Here in the metro area, X band is primarily like automatic door openers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
There's a ton of them. I've had X-band off for so long, like I don't even remember what uses it anymore. I think it's auto door openers and whatnot. Like it's Ohio and New Jersey are like the only places left that actively use it.
Do they actually actively use X band?
They do. There's still a couple places in the country, or like around the country, that use it, but
I'll roll the dice and leave it off.
it's not used in California. It's not in use at all, so you're fine.
No, yeah, and then K band. is actually mostly radar cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cars here in the metro areas, LA, and all over the country, are using radar cruise control and or passive safety systems, whatever.
Yeah.
And oh my God, does it drive kids nuts?
So that's actually going to be changing. I think in
Is
2020 or 2022, they're actually the FCC is going to be moving away from K-band for all the blind spot radar and everything.
Oh, that's good. Is that going to be great for us or bad for us?
It's going to be amazing for us because they're going to be switching to like ultrasonic 67 gigahertz or so, which means it's no longer going to be triggering our radar detectors. So for people who have to use K-band because it's in use, we're not going to be dealing with as many of the false alerts that we have today.
I'm pretty sure you must be familiar with Alex Roy, my good friend, and another radar detector enthusiast, and he had a revelation related to what you just said. Independent of it, I must give him credit. Independent, he found out without reading into it that like whatever frequency they're using for like K-band is like the same thing for autonomous. Like he's like, oh my God, this is going to be a huge problem. And then read later like, oh good, someone thought of a solution.
I know. It's like I wish if I worked for a car manufacturer, I'd be like, don't use K-band for all your radar. Use something else. Yeah. Like seriously.
But I disable it in here in Los Angeles, and here actually in this city it is different for whatever city you live in. But here in LA, the only place you find cops actually doing real highway patrol kind of work is right on the border of the city and the desert. Right where the city ends. Like, in the city, there's just so many cars, like, you can't speed.
I was wondering about that. I've seen one alert the whole time I've been here.
There's no cops, like, in the city. And in fact, I turn my V1 off a lot if I'm just in the city. I'm going 12. There's no... And the cops that are around, I have seen people in this town pull some crazy shit in front of cops, and the cops couldn't be bothered to give a fuck. I've
been wondering about that. You see so much, I'm like, record, and my dash cam like, save
wild
this clip.
Shit in this town.
Yeah.
Every town has their own version of bad driving. What is your, where are you from?
Seattle.
Okay, in Seattle, what is your town? Is it stoned? Is that is that what they do? Or?
Probably the worst thing in Seattle would be like left lane hogs with the Prius.
Okay.
Yeah, who do like speed limit or under in the left lane, and like you're supposed to move over to the right. I've seen people get pulled over for it, but they never do, so you're always having to pass on the right.
Driving in Germany is so lovely.
That would be amazing. Like people actually follow the rules of the road.
Civilized. You hate to from a Jew, you hate to say, oh, Germany, it's so civilized, but when it comes to the motoring, yes. Here in LA, it's not paying attention, texting while driving, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like almost everywhere though.
Yeah, so what you get here is you really get the speed enforcement is right at the edge of the city, where the city meets desert. Because outside the city limits, it's 90. No one really gives a fuck because you're in the middle of the desert.
That's cool.
But right on that edge, there's a few spots where it's like you don't even want to go near them without everything on.
Yeah.
But then we have the CHP motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
Which are, if you ever pull up on YouTube, some of the videos that those guys are doing is ridiculous. Their skill, and they have great hiding spots, and they all shoot laser. So if they're gonna get you, they're gonna get you, and there's no hiding.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you could talk about laser jammers.
Laser jammers, yeah. Around here, I believe the cops use LTI guns. Easy to jam.
Easy to jam.
They are pretty easy to jam. Yeah. The main thing is like making sure you get a good set of jammers and you have them installed properly.
Yeah.
If they're installed incorrectly, they won't work right. So.
What's like low in the nose?
Either like if they're installed super low, or one of the common ones is if you install them behind a grill. The grill will actually physically prevent them from either seeing the laser or being able to transmit it back out. And people are like, hey, I want it hidden for aesthetic purposes, but it doesn't work. So that's one of the most common things I see. But if it's installed properly, when the cop shoots you with laser, the alarms will go off in your car, your jammer starts shooting back at him, and prevent a speed rating from showing up on his gun.
But then you slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
You slow down and turn them off, ideally within like 2 to 3 seconds or so.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, you're doing speed limit, whatever, next car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're very effective. Unfortunately, I jump cars a lot. For me, it's not feasible. But if you've got one car, or even a sports car that is your go-to a lot, Alex swears by them.
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, people who use them, my friend Nick, absolutely swears by them. What's the one to have right now?
The anti-laser priority is like the jammer, most effective.
Pull that one up too. What's it called? Anti-laser priority?
Anti-laser priority. That's the best jammer, most effective, jams all the guns out there. There's a couple out there.
What does that go for?
It starts at about $750 or so for 2 heads on the front. And then if you want additional heads, or you also want protection on the rear, or Bluetooth integration, there's different things you can add in.
You've been doing a good job of hiding them. There's shockingly few pictures of this fucking thing on the internet. Is
Yeah.
that it there? With the white box and the 4 dealies?
Yeah, you can see them over on the right,
On
like
the
the
right
white box. So that's the control unit plus one of the heads that would be installed in your grill.
One of them heads installed in your grill.
Maybe 2 inches wide or so.
Yeah, and
Little
there's still no such thing as a portable one, right? Because laser's so
No.
precise. It's like your windshield is like too far away.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't put them up on the windshield. They won't. Yeah. Laser's such a pinpoint
Well,
thing.
just pull out that janky.
Yeah. So that's actually from
That's a
testing purposes.
Oh,
So you'll
is that
probably
you?
actually see like that wasn't me. I know those guys, but you'll probably see a couple different jammers installed. So like we actually do testing events
Yeah.
to figure out what's the most effective.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, and that's from testing.
That's a good point. That's either janky as fuck or he's a scientist.
Yeah, and like I recognize the car. Okay, so that's the thing where
install.
in behind the grill, that's super common. So that looks
Of course
like it's gonna work
fucking
well.
M4.
That will cut down like range about 50% if you put it behind a grill
Really?
like that. Yeah.
Okay, what's the effective range without that?
It depends on terrain settings, all that kind
Let's
of stuff.
let's
blah, blah, blah.
assume clear day and it's flat.
Ideal, you're out in the desert, going
Yeah.
to Vegas or something. You can
Yeah.
easily get 10 miles plus
Of laser?
of radar.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
a
a radar
detector.
detector. That's a radar
oh.
detector.
Yeah. I've gotten. I once got in the middle of Nevada. Got 11 miles out of a V1.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
It's amazing.
I then. This is a great story because the audience knows it. It's famous from a video. I got 11 miles worth of Valentine 1, progressively increasing until I saw the guy.
Yep.
I set the cruise control at 1 over,
Mhm.
passed him and was pulled over and ticketed for 1 over.
No.
Yeah, and he pulled me over in a parking lot, and I then got a flat tire in that parking lot, which exploded halfway into Vegas, and I had to be towed all the way into Vegas. Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's like, okay, is that for safety? 1 over?
Well,
or
in
what's
fairness-
up with that? Oh, is there more to the story?
It was on Bull Run.
Oh.
So the car.
Oh.
No, but
Okay, well-
listen. Driving while stickered is not a crime.
No, that's
So,
not illegal.
66 and a 60, and I went back and fought it, and the judge looked at it, looked up, and said, "Really? 1?" And I said, "Yes, Your Honor." And he said, and he tore it up and said, "Have a nice day."
Good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Well, I had to drive
Yeah,
back
and
to
for you.
fucking Vegas.
That's
though.
a pain to have to just deal with a 1 mile and over ticket.
Yeah, it was a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
The cop who pulled me over fully won.
Yeah.
He won. That won. He metaphorically beat the shit out of me on the side of the road and fucked my day up.
That's so his radar gun is actually only accurate to plus or minus 1 mile an hour. So you could, in theory, be doing exactly the speed limit.
Listen,
and it's like
a judge is accurate to about 6.
Yeah.
Okay? You know
like that's
what I
just
mean?
one of those.
A
Oh, you got stickers ticket. Like that's.
A judge will look at that and go, "Wow, this cop is a piece of shit."
Yeah, exactly. It's like doing are you the technical side or the human side, and
Yeah.
yeah.
In the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Like, that's stupid. There's nobody
So
around. There's
crazy.
nothing.
Have you ever gotten a ridiculous one like that, like a 1 over?
No, luckily no. I have friends that have done that,
Yeah.
and they've sent me the pictures of like, oh, here's what the fine is for 1 over. You're
Yeah.
ticketed for 1 over, and I'm like, what is that?
You should
What
offer
is that?
some sort of a prize or giveaway for closest to 0 over.
Like, what's the
without-
most ridiculous absurd ticket that you've
without-
gotten?
Well, the most ridiculous I've ever seen. I mean, I suppose it was sort of fair. I don't even think I'll have a problem with telling you. My friend Seth Rose, and there's a bull run guy. He's a road rally guy, and he was always one of those guys that was up at the front.
Mhm.
I was never one of them.
That's
You have to be a certain type
Sure.
to be that. And as of now, I was doing this when I considered myself a child. Now as an adult, it's all dumb. But
yeah.
this guy was always in the front. He got a Reckless in a Nissan GTR in Telluride, Colorado, which was a 30 miles an hour in a 10. Which was a fucking Reckless.
They gave him a Reckless for
Yeah,
that?
for going
Well,
30.
it's triple the speed limit.
It was
but-
triple. Yeah, no,
but
that was the
issue?
yeah, the issue was that it was triple the speed limit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hilarious. Fucking hysterical.
Wow.
Absolutely hysterical.
Reckless for 20 over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in there's somewhere Virginia. I think
Virginia's
if you're
like
20
the
over,
bad
it's a
one.
Reckless. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a
I
60.
forget the exact number, but yeah, they're like really
Yeah.
tough on that.
I got a 66 and a 60 in Virginia, and it was a court appearance.
Really, for 6 over.
It was brutal. Yeah, and I was living. I didn't live there, bro. I lived in Philly. I had to go away.
Wait, he didn't cut you any slack for being out of state or
Virginia,
anything?
no.
Not at all?
No. And I was warned too.
Mm-hmm.
I was warned that road was bad, and
Yeah.
you get warned, and then
Like,
yeah,
maybe they won't be out. You know, we'll
yeah,
see.
maybe 6 over won't be a big deal.
No, usually the threshold's about 10.
Nope. There's a place in South Carolina called the Bluffton Speed Trap. It's one of the famous places where the two cops generate 80% of the town's fucking revenue, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to use the C word, but And they got me once on a 57 and a 55. Is it legit? In a fucking champagne RX 300. What is the lamest car?
You get all these stupid tickets. Like,
I do.
That's not even speeding.
I have an image of doing these crazy things. My real tickets are for nothing. They're 80% of the tickets I've ever gotten in my life have been for less than 10 over. It's crazy.
I would not have guessed that.
No. It's revenue generation. I'm not doing anything unsafe, and I've had cops say some crazy shit to me.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, people ask, oh, why do you need a radar detector? Are you speeding? Are you breaking the law? And it's like, no, it's for this stupid stuff to just avoid having to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. It's not for people like, it's going to help if you want to speed like crazy, obviously, but it applies to so many people who just drive normally.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you live and where you drive, like, you could have some truly either vindictive police.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to be fair. In California, I deal with a lot of sheriffs and a lot of CHP, both in that I just see them out and about and talk to them. I deal with them as they're at work, in my neighborhood or whatever. I see them on the side of the road and they recognize me and come say hi. And we hire them for television to close roads for us.
Right, yeah.
They've all been great. I've been ticketed in California, but I've only ever had one interaction that I'm with a cop where I was not, you get me. I'm not gonna be a dick about it.
Sure.
You got me. But don't like yelling and screaming at me like oh my god, like I personally insulted you by going 7 over.
Right, yeah. I think that's the case with the majority of the cops, is most of them are awesome, like good people.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of with anything, you have a couple bad eggs who, make the news or whatever, but the majority of them are awesome. Like, people think, oh, you're radar detectors, you're anti-cops or something, like, and that's not really what it's about, at least for me. Like, I don't have an issue with cops. I'm glad they're out there helping keep us safe and all that stuff, but I don't want stupid tickets for things that are supposedly for safety and aren't.
Yeah, I agree. And do you find that cops are anti-radar detector? I don't really think they are.
Some have an issue with it. Some are more willing to give you a ticket if they see a detector, because they're like, oh, I'm not going to give you a warning, and they point to your detector like, that's your warning.
Oh, motherfucker, I haven't had a warning since I was 17 years old. I don't know what a warning is. I assume I'm getting a ticket. You know what I mean? I assume I assume it is, and for me, a radar detector is the first line of defense and often the only one I need.
Yeah.
My second line of defense is my attorney, bro. I don't argue. I don't say shit.
Just let them
I take the ticket and call my lawyer.
Yeah.
And consequently, I now, for the first time in ever, have a 100% clean license.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. I know a lot of people that do that.
15 fucking years.
They're like, why do I want a detector? I get all these false alerts. If anything happens, I'll just call my lawyer. Like, that's another strategy, too.
It is a good strategy. The lawyer's a lot more expensive than the radar detector.
Yeah, so, pros and cons to everything.
But if you need to drive for a living, for me, or if, more importantly, if you have multiple cars, I mean, holy shit, if you are a collector of cars, or if you have 4 or 5 cars, or a family policy or whatever, you start getting points in your license. Holy hell, does your insurance go crazy?
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
So
Can you still get away with points if you get a ticket out of state, or have they fixed that?
Do you know? Are you versed in reciprocity?
Some states have reciprocity, some don't. So it depends.
Yeah. So reciprocity. Reciprocity is a real thing. And a lot of states are reciprocity states, meaning wherever else you get a ticket, it transfers. California included. There are a few states that are no reciprocity states, and if you have a license from one of them, you are golden. For instance, I know New York and North Carolina are both no reciprocity states. Do you know of any other ones?
I haven't really paid attention to the reciprocity states.
Okay, so New York is a golden license. Not only can you be like, yo, I'm from New York, also anywhere other than New York, points don't transfer.
That's really nice.
So you can rack up tickets anywhere you like and just pay the fine, and you're golden. And that's it.
That's cool.
North Carolina's yeah. It's but if you live in California legally, like you get a California license, they won't let you. Like other states don't even give a shit where your license is from. In California, they make a very big deal of it because they broke.
That's like people trying to get a business in Delaware or Las Vegas or whatever.
Smoke Tire LLC is a Delaware corporation doing business in
California.
California. Legal. It's legal.
It's legal.
Yeah. Unlike the out-of-state, out-of-state car registrations are a big no-no here as well.
Yeah.
For tax, evasion, and as well as smoke.
That makes sense. Yeah, the smog's a big one out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get the miles done. It's annoying, but whatever. It's not that bad unless you have like a hot rod with no cats. I don't know anybody like that. Let's talk more about radar detectors. So,
sure, yeah.
what is the new shit now that the arrows are no longer the thing? What's the new deal?
So the arrows are cool, but now a lot of detectors are moving to digital.
What does that even mean?
So basically, the way they're doing their analysis under the hood, they're able to scan a lot faster. They can do some more sophisticated signal processing to filter out a lot of the annoying false alerts.
Okay.
So basically, you're just getting better performance and better filtering because the computers are now better under the hood.
So you don't have to do the deactivate exit K because it just filters it on its own?
You could still do that, that's helpful. But for those of us who still need X-band or maybe K-band especially, if you still have that turned on, it's going to do a better job of filtering those out than maybe some of the older detectors, which is kind of one of the biggest complaints if you don't live in an area where you can turn them off. It's just so many false alerts. Yeah, well that's actually most people's complaint about any time I bring up radar detectors is, oh, the thing never shuts up. Yeah. And if before I learned about the deactivating the X and the K, I would completely agree with them because the V1 is extremely sensitive for all bands of radar, and it is extremely annoying if you don't have the other ones deactivated. Yeah, and I mean the majority of the country, they still have K-band in use, so you need it turned on, and it's got good filtering against blind spot falses and cruise control. Not ideal, every detector is still going to false to them, but one of the biggest things is it doesn't have a GPS chip built in. Yeah. So you can't have the detector learn stationary false alerts. So automatic door openers you were talking about?
Right. Well, that's a lot of people I know, is the Passport that does GPS?
There's a bunch now. Uniden, Redesto, Escort does it.
I think it's the Escort and the Passport are GPS ones, right?
They are, yeah.
Those are the real big name ones?
Yeah, the Escort does that.
Yeah, and a lot of people will prefer the Escort and the V1, I guess, because of the GPS.
It's got the GPS.
And that might be better if you drive the same route every day, if you got to commute.
Exactly, and if you still got K-band turned on, so you're always passing the same shopping center, or you got speed signs, it can learn those and filter them out. Yeah. You can actually do that with the V1 as well.
Oh, is there a separate? Oh, with the phone, with the app.
If you add the app, you can do that.
You fuck with the app?
Oh yeah, both Android and iPhone.
Tell me about the app, about the V1 app, because I haven't tried it yet.
So to do it, there's no Bluetooth built into the detector, so you actually have to get a Bluetooth module. It's $50 and it just plugs into your V1 in the power cable, and then you can. There's an Android version and an iPhone version. Okay. But the thing is, Mike Valentine. Is
pull up that picture. Is that the UI?
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's an old app. That's Stealth Assist. That app.
Different app.
That does low speed muting, but not the lockouts that I'm talking about. Okay. So basically, there's YaV1 is what it's called. Yeah, that's the second one right here. There's the Android one. So you can see it's actually paired to the phone right there. It's a KA signal, but it would do the same thing for K-band. Basically, the idea is the app using your phone's GPS. Right. And then when it sees the same signals over and over, it'll learn it, and then tell the V1 to mute itself. Okay. When it comes across a false alert.
And that's just full over Bluetooth, passive, everything, right?
Yeah, and it just runs in the background. It does take a little bit more to set up.
Wait, what about if you're Bluetooth to your car for your calls? Can it do it at the same time?
It can do both, yeah. So your phone can Bluetooth to multiple devices. Your V1 to your car, to a headset, whatever. Yeah.
My iPhone can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I guess I've never tried.
Yeah, so you can Bluetooth to multiple devices at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is really nice. Which is good, because then you could actually take the audio from the V1 and maybe duplicate it over your car stereo, or...
Oh.
So you got all sorts of different options.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice for bike riders, they can just put audio in their headset.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you can... You can run audio for motorcycle guys?
Yeah, a lot of times they'll do that. They make
an extra... mount the V1 on the tank?
Yeah, they'll just put it on the front of their bike, right behind the windscreen.
You rock a V1 on your bike?
No, never.
What do you use for a power supply?
Battery? You can just wire it into your bike, so when you turn on your bike, you just hardwire it in.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah,
hold that up, dude. I like when people do this.
Oh, that's cool. Like the radar mirrors?
Yeah, this is my I don't know who made this one, but my boy, shout out to AI Design in Tuckahoe. He built Alex Roy's M5.
Oh, cool.
Matt Figliola, owner, and his people, genius people, very high-end shop. And I'll name drop, family friend Ralph Lauren buys every crazy car known to man, sends them all down there to have that done with his.
Those are really
mirrors.
Cool when they get done, like those kind of radar mirrors.
That's the shit.
They're really slick. If you want a nice clean install, those are nice.
You combine that with the new mirrors that everyone's using. Everyone's using the frameless mirrors now. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the ones in the Teslas?
Yeah, basically. GM's doing it. I think Volvo for sure. Tesla does it. I think Tesla cribs it from Mercedes, which is doing it. Basically all the luxury brands have eliminated the frame around the mirror, and I assume you could still do that. Install it. Looks dope, right?
Yeah, you just need a little bit of room behind the mirror, and then you can just put the display right back there and clean off the silver finish, and yeah.
So the new thing is it's this digital scanning, so it filters stuff better, but you know, does that mean if you've got something that's good, like a 5-year-old Passport or a V1, like, do you need to spend $500 again?
Maybe. I mean, those are still good detectors. Like, the V1's still a great detector. Like, they're actually coming out with a patent right now, which we just found out about a couple days ago, with a digital version of the V1.
Fuck off, really?
So he's been working on different patents for new displays, new underlying hardware, but...
Is he committed to using that same case?
So actually, no, it will be a different design for the case. It's going to have like the OLED display, different types of arrows that are going to be customizable.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
How exciting. I'll give him $500 again.
Oh, I'm ready to get one.
For a completely new piece of hardware?
Yeah.
I've had my V1 since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I've sent it back once for a software update, like 4 years ago.
That's one of the nice things about the V1. You just send it back, pay a fee, and it updates it for you.
I mean, I bought one for my dad. Keeps his ass out of jail. The Taconic Parkway, north of New York. Fucking hell. It's crazy. So what else do we need to know?
So that's one of the big things. The GPS, like, there's so like that's actually one of my favorite detectors right there. The new Uniden.
So that's Uniden.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, so they don't have the brand recognition. They used to make detectors ages ago. And
I remember like 80s Uniden stuff for sure.
Yeah, and then they got out for a while, but some of their new stuff they're coming out with is really, that's like the best performing detector on the planet, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Right now, so what's the story with it?
So
what does best performing actually mean?
So it's got the longest range. It's better performing than the V1, than the Escort Redline, like anything else that's designed to be a high performance detector. That guy can actually outperform it. So the filtering is really good. The performance is amazing. This thing has been consistently beating everything else. It's got GPS built in. Like that one doesn't.
What I don't get from that picture is a sense of size.
It's small. It's maybe this big.
Like pack a playing card?
If you actually pull up my Instagram, I posted a couple pictures with it recently. You'll see it. So like that's one from the other day.
I love your Instagram's funny because it's like you know, these like ballers post pictures of their watches and their car keys and shit, and you've got like these pictures.
I was like, I'm playing with these detectors today. I got them on my windshield.
I mean, look,
on my desk.
I'll tell you what though, you don't have to take a picture. Like that's a well laid out picture.
There it is. Yeah, they're just sitting on my desk.
Vortex Radar on Instagram. Pull that up for. Okay, so on the Uniden there's. Okay, so compared to. That's compared to the Escort Redline, and what's the other one there on the right?
The updated Redline, the Redline EX.
Okay, so of the 3 in the picture, it is the smallest.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And
they figured out. Oh, they have. Okay, so the new ones are all using the single, you know, the levered suction cup mount.
Yeah.
Kind of like what comes with the GoPros.
A lot of them are doing that, yeah. So you've got the options for like the big ones or the small ones. I like both of them for different reasons.
I'll tell you what, I got a hack for you. I don't know, you probably know this, but the V1's real weak point. Pull up that picture in his Instagram on the left, Tim, the V1, so those can see. So in this picture, for those looking, the V1 is on the right, and it uses these 2, I think they're 1 inch, maybe 1 1/4 inch clear suction cups, right? You gotta like lick your finger just the right amount, just not too much, not too little.
Yep.
You got the car's gotta be cold, the windshield can't be hot, right? And you gotta do the thing, hold it there for 30 seconds, and then you got a pretty strong mount. But over time, especially if you move the thing from car to car, they get all flimsy and shitty.
I had that issue too, constantly switching detectors.
Did you figure out a solution?
What's your solution for it?
Bed Bath & Beyond shower suction cups.
Really?
That size, the same little number, they're direct replacement. They're 80 cents.
And they fit in.
The plastic is almost double the thickness, and they have like a ribs around them, like a structure. I'm telling you, I saw them for 79 cents. I bought a dozen of them. I have a lifetime of these fucking things.
That's awesome.
And they're so much more durable, and they last so much longer. They're just much nicer suction cups, and they work with the V1. I think it's just like, you know, 1 inch suction cup. You get them on Amazon or whatever from Bed Bath & Beyond, and they are the shit.
I have to check those out. I wonder if they fit like other detectors as well, because
anyone that has the same little number as the Valentine one, it will fit. And like here in California and like Florida, Texas, whatever, so much sun, it's so hot. You know, you're out all day. Maybe you park on the street, you know, whatever. Like that thing is going to be varying in temperature, possibly 50, 60, 100 degrees. These cups are super legit.
That's nice. Yeah, sometimes it'll actually fall off your windshield. You don't want expensive detector falling off.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have,
No,
like,
especially
really
if you're
tough defense.
hardwired, because then it's going to dangle off your hardwired.
I get that a lot of times. I come back to my car and I see my detector just hanging.
Oh, it's
like
the
that.
worst.
Yeah.
The suction cups really help with that.
That's cool.
What's your what's your verdict on dash height versus rear view mirror height?
Rear view mirror.
Rear view mirror
Yeah.
is my move too.
Yeah, I like the dash mount just for temporary installs. Like you'll see in my photos, I just throw it up there, and it's nice to have it low on the windshield, and that's just because it looks good in pictures.
Way easier to take that picture.
Yeah, especially
you can't
with the camera
take that
mounted
picture
high.
with hiding behind the thing.
That's the thing. So like I actually run it up high by my rearview mirror.
Yeah.
It's like hidden there. You get better performance. It's accessible. The windshield is sloped towards you.
In general, the rule of thumb is as high as you can make it.
As high as you can make
as high
it.
as it goes.
It helps it see over hills, over other vehicles. It gives you better performance and whatnot.
Why doesn't V1 make? Here's my patent. This podcast can be a recording. Here's my idea.
Yeah.
A shark fin,
Mm-hmm.
exterior mount, like an XM antenna.
Okay.
Right. Bluetooth to your phone, which is a display. Right. With you'd have to run some type of power, but then you'd have the highest possible.
I've seen people do that where they'll do remote mount installs, and
Yeah.
instead of actually installing it in their grill, they'll take the antenna and put it up on their roof rack.
Yeah, roof rack for sure. Or
Yep.
you could do some kind of like freaking crazy fin.
Yeah.
Really.
If you could make it look good, then yeah.
How much more range do you think you could potentially gain by that?
I've actually seen like pretty significant range bumps, with just by like mounting it up high like that.
Oh, for sure. You top of windshield versus dash.
Versus like way down in the grill or something. Like that actually really does help.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great, and you got to run the wire down and whatnot. But
Yeah.
for performance, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is what about like dash cams and shit? Are you versed in dash cams?
Yeah.
Dash cams
So I've
as
got
well?
like 4 dash cams mounted in my car right now, testing and
really?
comparing them. Yeah, just to see
so
like
funny.
to see which ones are the best and test nighttime.
When you
quality
go to
and all
buy a
that.
car, is a priority for you like a huge windshield?
So actually,
You
one
need
of
a
the
Model
priorities.
X. You need a Tesla Model X.
Well, they
It's
have the
perfect for you.
windshields that. So I thought about that, but there's 2 issues with the Model X. One, typically the windshields don't allow for radar detectors to pass through to like work properly because the heated windshields.
It's heated.
Some of the Teslas, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And the grills are kind of limited in terms of where you can put detectors or jammers.
Well, there aren't grills.
Yeah.
Now they have
There you
that
go.
the face that's like, what is it?
Mustache.
The Twilight Zone where the people don't have any mouths. Is that the thing?
That thing, yeah. I've actually tested one where somebody stuck jammers in the corners of that like mustache thing, and it worked. So
Okay.
you can make it work.
Yeah.
But like if you want, I've got 4 or 5 remote radar detectors installed on my grill on my Miata. I've got
You're testing all this shit in a
Miata. I've got cables I'm like running out of room to install.
That's
like,
so funny. Someone's gonna
oh
fucking
my
report
gosh.
you. For
I've got so much stuff
shit.
installed in my car.
Wait,
yeah.
how do we find a picture of what your windshield looks like? Is it on your Instagram?
It might be. I'm trying to find like where would I have the front of my car.
You should find a way to run like a live webcam in your Miata. Just there's so much shit going on.
I
in this
do that.
Miata.
Like I do tours of my car. It's like showing people around.
There's a seat
so,
with
yeah, here we
wires
go.
all over it.
So there's a couple remotes that I'm installing. Click left.
Wow.
And go,
So are
you'll
you
see,
just like
a car.
constantly? Do your grills like sloppy pussies
grill.
now? They're just falling out. 'Cause
Yeah,
you take them out
so this
much
is
with
old.
the
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4
That's
remotes.
hysterical.
I've got another one that I put in there. I want to put in a 6th one.
Oh, wait, so
testing.
for those listening, we're looking at an NC Miata, a last generation Miata, which is a lovely car, by the way.
Yeah.
So you've got the primary big mouth grill, although you don't have the ugly mouth. You have the better mouth
Right.
of the 2 mouths.
I'm really glad. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yep.
You've cut a hole in that grill. You have what appears to be 2 devices.
So I've got the laser jammers installed right there. Those
Yeah.
I had professionally installed because they had to cut. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And then you've got another big hole in the right side of this photograph.
That's just like somebody backed into my car.
Oh,
So yeah. So there's actually this like little plastic cover.
So
And
why haven't you mounted something?
so it's funny, like I actually
You
got a
can come
cover
out
for
like,
it.
yeah, I had to cut that. I'm so gangster. I'm
No,
cutting up
so
my
it's
own
funny.
car for
I got the
science.
cover for that, and then somebody backed into my car and cracked my grill, and now I can't put it back in there anymore.
Well, now you can put
Yeah.
another radar detector in, and then your lower lip, right, your lower valance there.
That's
Is
the
that
easiest place
Is
to
that
put
an
it in.
intake you filled with?
Pretty much. I filled it with radar detectors.
Is that the air scoop for
It
your
is,
engine?
yeah, it is.
How's
It doesn't
your
get to the
airflow?
point.
Are
Well,
you okay?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's
You
still
covered
plenty
up
of
what
room in there.
appears to be at least 25% of your intake.
The majority
I'm not
of the
trying to
air
nitpick,
intakes, no, it's funny, but like the majority of the air intakes are right around there, and
Okay.
you just got a couple little ones there, and that actually kind of goes down like below the car. It's more
Okay.
for like airflow.
Okay, and then what is the testicles hanging from your license plate?
So that's a Stinger VIP.
Which is what?
Also a radar detector.
Okay.
The expensive one, it's like the most expensive one out there.
And you have to have that huge box hanging off the front of your car?
Or you can install it behind a body panel or something. And
Oh,
people a lot of
will
times
that
do
go through bodywork unlike the
If
lasers?
it's so radar, it will do it. If it's flat, non-metallic body panel,
Okay.
you can do that.
Flat, non-metallic.
That's the
like
trick for this.
paintwork?
Yeah, like I've actually got metallic paint, so I can't install it.
Really?
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
why you
that's
see all of mine
interesting.
out in the open
That's
like that.
interesting. I didn't know that one at all.
Yeah.
Wait, so what makes the Stinger VIP by far the best radar detector?
So it's the hardware is very sophisticated.
Okay.
There's some issues with it, honestly. Like I've had a chance to work with them a ton. The software really needs development. If they like really took the time to improve the software side of it, it would be amazing.
So is it just like range?
Yeah, great. Well, I would say yes, but the one that I have, something's going on with it, and the range is lower than it should be.
Okay.
So it should have good range, should have good filtering. It's got your lockouts. It's undetectable by radar detectors.
Undetectable by
It is.
radar detectors. So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily advising you buy one in Virginia.
No, not at all.
No.
But there are some detectors
But what
that
would the
feature that.
shipping cost be hypothetically to Virginia?
Great. Great shipping, yeah.
I'm not saying that if you live in Virginia you must have this. Oh, I should know
No.
something.
There are a lot of detectors that are undetectable. The Unidens, the Escorts, Stingers, Redenso.
Really? All this shit is
A
undetectable
lot
now?
of companies make undetectable detectors now.
What if they make a detector for the invisible detecting software?
A radar detector. So some companies actually do that.
Yeah.
But they do that because their detectors suck and they can't make it undetectable. Well, not every detectable one sucks. But like Cobra, for example, they
Yeah.
make some where they're like horrible detectors, and really all that feature actually is we want an extra check mark on a marketing list.
That's so funny.
So it's wildly detectable, but when you get really close to it and the officer already knows that you have a detector, then it shuts itself off and tells you, oh, there's a radar detector.
Hysterical.
So it's not really a useful feature, but that does exist. Yeah. So it exists, but yeah, there's a ton of stealth detectors, which is like, in the US it's not a big deal. If they find you have a detector in Virginia, it's less than $100, and they don't even confiscate
Is that
your
it?
detector
They
anymore.
make such a big deal out of that.
It used to be. They used to confiscate detectors. In
Yeah.
Ontario, they can like impound your car, and there's like...
Ontario, Canada?
In Canada?
Because we live in Ontario.
Yeah.
That really
Oh,
fucks
in
with you
Canada.
when you move to LA.
Yeah.
Like, where are you from?
Oh.
Oh, I'm from Ontario. You're like, fuck, oh, really? And it's like, it's right there.
We've got the same thing in Seattle with Vancouver.
Yeah.
So Vancouver, Canada is 3 hours north. Vancouver,
Yeah.
Washington is 3 hours south.
There's a Vancouver, Washington, 3 hours south.
Right on the border, like just north of Portland.
God, that's dumb.
So they say, oh, you're go to Vancouver? Which one?
That's extremely dumb.
And they're both like right in the same area.
People fuck, and weed's legal there, someone's fucking that up.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, someone's fucking that shit up.
Good place to live for tax purposes. There's no state tax in Washington.
In Washington?
And then you just go across the border to Portland and there's no sales tax.
Oh, so you buy in one and sell in the other. It's
There you
brilliant.
go.
It's brilliant. It's a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
It's a great place to drive
love
sports
it.
cars.
It's unbelievable.
Been
It's
to
so
a couple
beautiful.
press launches
Mhm.
out of Seattle, and like those roads in between Seattle and like Snoqualmie and all that. Just,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh
the best.
my gosh.
It's the best.
I love driving out there just to drive.
Yeah.
Like we'll go on driving trips with Miata clubs, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, or just for fun. It's the mountains are just so
It's the
beautiful
best.
out there. The roads are incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
Top 4 or 5 driving state.
It's amazing. People always talk about the rain and the cloudiness, which is true, but
It's
like,
fine.
but then with all the rain, you get the lush green nature.
You know what?
and-
When it rains all the time,
Mhm.
like, I mean, look, if you're trying to drive a convertible, okay, I understand the point.
Yeah.
But when it rains all the time, the roads stay grippy.
Mhm.
Here, when it rains, it's a real problem.
That's true.
You know, no people don't understand because when I'm driving, occasionally I'll have to be doing a video and it'll start raining,
Yeah.
and I all of a sudden turn into like a giant vagina.
Yeah.
You know, it's always 'cause it's in some super sketchy car. It never happens in like a brand new RS6. It's always in like, you know, some 2JZ fucking 240, you know,
Oh,
death
man.
trap.
No.
No, it's always just some unknown quantity, but the roads just get so slick.
Yeah.
You know, because of all the dust and the coolant and you know, and also
The oil's been sitting for
the oil's
4
been-
months
it's been
since the
sitting
last
for
time it
months,
rained.
you know.
Yeah.
When was the
It's
last
like
time
ice.
it rained here? Like who even knows?
Do you guys get much rain here, or how does that work? In the winter?
It rains 10 times a year between January and March.
That's it.
Pretty much. Although last year was exceptional. Last year I had to cancel I think 6 or 7 shoot days because of rain.
Wow.
We're not in the drought anymore. Although they were like, the drought's over, and then it has literally not rained once since they said the drought's over. Who knows when it's gonna rain again? I
So
don't know.
top 4 or 5 driving states?
Well,
West,
California,
one-
Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
Washington.
Washington.
I'm gonna throw out the curveball is West Virginia.
Really?
Spectacular.
It's like
And
the Appalachians.
beautiful.
Just
And
the
beautiful.
best
Yeah.
The best. West Virginia, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my best.
I used to like hike up there, go to North Carolina, so
Yeah.
whenever we drive to go up the trails and all, oh my gosh, the mountains up
It's
there,
the
the
best.
Appalachians,
Yeah.
gorgeous.
But there's a lot of other good places. The top 10, you throw in Vermont, Montana.
Makes sense, kind of coastal cities and just not the
places
Midwest.
without a lot of people to
Yeah.
fucking muck it up.
That helps.
You want open. What else do we need to know?
So,
dash cams.
dash cams,
We're going
yeah.
down dash cams. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's the one to have now?
so there's a ton of them. I've got some Vicovation ones. I've got Blackview cameras in my car.
I'm sorry. What was the first thing you said you have?
Vicovation?
Vico, is that a brand?
Yeah, so it's
Oh.
a brand. They make
Okay.
some like higher end dash cams, $250 or so.
Okay. What does one of those look like?
Yeah, so actually the
That
one
one?
that you've got pulled up there.
What is that? The controller or is that the actual camera?
So that's the back of it with the buttons and the LCD
Oh, okay.
and everything. And then, so that's a pretty good one. The video quality's pretty good. There are some weird quirks that I found with it. I'm kind of talking to the manufacturer to see if we can resolve them. I'm
is that
testing.
forward and reverse or just forward?
So that one's just forward, front facing one. So that's like a good kind of higher end camera.
That's $250
$250
with memory card, no memory card.
no memory card.
And what does that have that other ones like don't have?
High resolution, shoots at like 1440p instead of
Oh,
1080, things like
okay.
that. You can get them with Wi-Fi. They record both when you're driving and when you're parked,
Oh.
things like that.
So at what point can one of those drain the battery of your car?
So they actually have some like monitoring devices that keep it from draining your battery too much.
Okay.
So like if the voltage drops too low, it just shuts off the dash cam.
Okay.
So they make devices that monitor that, or
That's
you can
good.
get like external battery packs.
Yeah, because that's sort of one of my fears of having. People like I see these on various dash cam videos. These dealers fucking people's cars, whatever. And
Yeah.
the car, it's like, oh, the car's parked and this camera's running. Like, how fucking long is this thing running? Like 24/7?
Yeah, a lot of them do. I've
Really?
got my favorite one that I've been running these days is a Blackview camera, and it comes with an accessory that lets you do that. So I let mine run.
Just an accessory
24/7.
like battery pack.
So I've got a battery pack and like the voltage monitor to run off my car's battery. So I've got like both
Where do you
systems.
shove this fucking?
So the battery pack is I don't have room for that. So that's like under the passenger seat.
Dude, if honestly, if you started a GoFundMe for a car with some space, you know what you need? You know what would be a perfect car for you? Here's
like
the
a
thing.
truck or something.
No, here's the thing, because you need something like baseline, right? So if you're testing detectors, like, you don't want a flashy car that drives extra attention, right?
Right.
You want to be kind of what in the middle, right?
Mhm.
You need a Ford 500 that
Ford
later
500.
became the Taurus. They changed the name mid-run.
Yeah.
This is a car that is fundamentally invisible.
That's true.
Pretty reliable car, big, spacious, huge greenhouse.
That's a big
really big greenhouse. I'm telling you, you could buy the nicest one of these things in the world for about $4,000.
Seriously.
And that is your perfect invisible. Pull up the Ford 500.
I had a friend who actually had one of those. We used to test with this car all the time.
Got
It
one
was
as a
great.
rental car once. Gene
Yeah.
Sanchez, my old camera, vomited right in the passenger seat. There it is. Look at that. Look at how tall the roof is compared to the side of the door.
Reminds me
That
of an
is,
old
it's
Sonata
like
or something.
it's like you took a Volkswagen, a new Beetle, and just stretched it to add another door.
What's the grill look like on that car?
I don't know. Pull it up.
Like,
Pull
do we
up
have
the
good spot for like installing
Pull up the grill.
jammers?
There you go. That's
Like
good.
Maybe if you do it without the mesh grill, you can
That's
install
a
them down at the bottom.
It's got a good grill.
Maybe
That's
get a
the
different
second
grill with
gen.
like horizontal slats or something.
So
There
the
you go.
second gen, I think the grill is it's pretty small. It's like for Aston Martin size, but you got lower grills too.
You do, and you got plenty of room in there.
You got like, dude, how many lower grill slats are there?
Oh, I could fit so many radar detectors.
I'm
in there.
telling you, you can fit like 10. You could easily fit probably 10 to 12 radar detectors in the lower valves.
Easily, I could even start installing the bad ones in there just because I've got room.
Tell me that wouldn't be the
Maybe a total
perfect
sleeper.
car to test radar.
Oh,
Look
there
at
you go.
that,
Look
the
at that.
picture.
There's the grill.
That's the picture.
With that grill.
Pull it up. You can just take out that grill and look at the height of windshield compared to height of car.
And as long as you got enough
great.
room, like behind the dash and everything, I
great.
can install everything. That'd be great. I know. I've been looking. Like, I love the Miata. It's such
Yeah.
a fun car, but for like testing, I don't have a lot of room in there.
Can you think of a better one than that? I mean, you can go
Maybe a truck?
in
SUV?
trucks. Well,
That could
dude,
work.
yeah, you could
I don't need
find
all
like,
stuff.
maybe do you want like as close to the average?
It's like not that.
26 is
let's just pull that one up. As close to the that's a Ford
There you
500.
go. That's a good way to fly
Doc.
under the radar right there.
That's a 26. Speaking of flying under the radar, I want to go back to the perfect car, but I just have to bring it up before I forget. We were in Europe, in Germany, and we saw an RS6 Avant. Stunning car
I love those.
in one of those pull-offs, and it had a Landau fucking roof on it. I kid you not.
Really?
It had a proper Landau cloth roof.
Wow.
On it. Gangster as fuck. What, so maybe for you, would it, stop pulling up pictures of 4 or 5 miles. That is like, that to me says St. Louis rapper, my first album came out a week and a half ago.
It's like, no rims on this.
This is what I got with the advance. That's what that says to me. Or is that Tyga? I don't know. The average car, right? You want something that is the most in the middle.
Yeah, I want something that's like representative of what most people drive. So like a family sedan would work, an SUV would
Small
work.
crossover.
Crossover could be great.
I feel like, like a Mazda CX-5. I hate to always bring up the Mazda CX-5, but it seems like it's right in the middle of everything.
That could work. As long as it doesn't have like the radar cruise control, some of the Mazdas do.
Oh,
Or like the
so it
radar
has to
blind
have
spot
no radar cruise control.
Either that or on a frequency that doesn't interfere with radar detectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and some of the Mazdas have laser stuff too. Oh, actually, the CX-5s, do you have laser turned on in your V1?
Yes.
You do? Do you get a lot of laser pulses on it?
No.
That's
not
interesting.
Really. I mean, occasional, but not really. No.
Because the CX-5s a lot of times would trigger the V1.
Really?
Mazdas, Infinitis, or Volvos are the 3 big ones that I see.
Volvos and Infinitis, 100%.
Yeah.
Infinitis, I know an FX35 is coming from a fucking mile away.
Yeah. You can tell. It's like
Yeah.
I turn laser off on my V1.
And
Or whatever.
Volvo XC90s.
XC90s, they'll trigger them too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I just let my jammers handle all the laser stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
yeah.
cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 cameras your recommendation for cameras?
I like the new DR750S, the black dude.
What's that? Oh, the DR750S?
So it just came out. I've been running the 650S.
Is that it right there? The one that looks like a scope for a rifle?
Yeah, it's kind of like this horizontal tube.
Yeah.
So I've been running that.
It looks like an action
cam.
cam.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that it right there?
That's the
new
new
one.
one.
It goes
60
sideways
FPS and-
though. Okay,
Yeah. So that's the windshield mount and it sticks sideways.
No, so it looks more like our webcams than it does.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of the horizontal design. Great
Yeah.
video quality, good at night, good in the day. And
Is
it does driving
does
in.
that record and you hardwire it just?
Yeah, you hardwire it.
Uh-huh.
So easy right to the fuse box or wherever. I use like a little box that monitors the voltage level.
Oh, so do you have one box that all your shit goes into?
No, so everything goes in the fuse box, but I got a whole bunch of different power taps because
Yeah.
I've run out of spots on the cables, so I've had to like install for detectors, extra expansion ports,
Yeah.
jammers. Like, there's so much stuff in
Why
the
don't
car.
you have like one box that's like a mixing board basically that
That
just
would be
goes
nice.
into your? I feel like this is something that would help you so much.
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you just run the cables and you never really mess with it too much.
Right,
So
but
as
if
long
you
as
had
it's
like,
there,
if I were you, I'd want something that was almost like a guitarist pedal board.
that would be
You
nice.
know, that you would just plug the board into your one power source, and then everything else you could just do in the footwell of the car.
One thing that would actually be really nice for that, like for the jammers that I have, can integrate with radar detectors, and there's no good way of changing which detector is plugged into it without physically going in and changing the cables.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so having like Ethernet splitters or something where I can just change what's going into it would be a nice
Yeah.
add-on to do.
Are all the other detectors still using telephone cords?
Yeah.
They are, right?
They are.
It's not just the V1?
No, everybody does that, which I love.
It's the best.
It's great.
You
It
go to
locks
Radio
in.
Shack. Well, not anymore.
Yeah,
You
well,
went to
you could,
Radio
yeah.
Shack and buy fucking get telephone cords.
And so they're all universal if you ever want
Yeah.
to swap detectors, which I do all the time. Being
Yeah.
able to plug in almost any brand of detector into the same plug, I love that.
It's and you can have like just different lengths and colors, and like you can
Yep.
match, like if you have a tan interior, like you can get a tan telephone cord that will actually match your
Totally.
interior and like won't look all weird.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool. So yeah.
Anything
they're
else?
fun.
Let me see. Let me look on. This is gonna be not really a delay. You want to check your live camera? How do you know
Yeah,
from
sure.
the front
It's
that you're
running.
still living?
So I actually thought about, should I
Any
do the front
idea?
one? So it's still going. Oh,
Is it?
41 people watching. That's cool.
41.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, 41 people.
Oh, hey, yeah. So there's change.
So it works.
Yeah, it looks like it's working. It's
How
been
about
running the
that?
whole time,
It's,
so.
I'm glad that our internet solutions are actual solutions.
I'm glad it's working. You've got fast Wi-Fi.
Dude, it took
hopefully
years.
quality
Oh,
too.
good. We have questions from Facebook.
I have
yeah.
a question first.
Yeah, sure.
What is the future of radar detection, and particularly given GPS and all the computers in the cars, and they can track the speed? At what point do the police just tune into that and go, this car is going that, and this car is going
That's
that?
actually something we're wondering about. Like, as cars start moving to like self-driving cars, then do you need a radar detector if the car is driving itself? Or what about when you have the option of like self-driving versus manual driving? So that actually could change. So that could be really interesting to see. Like, will we still need detectors in the future? I think for a little while, it's going to take a while to go to like fully autonomous cars.
Yeah.
But I think that could be really interesting because a lot of that stuff will change.
The countries with, like, I think the best trained drivers, like,
Germany.
they don't really need them. You know,
No.
there's not. You know, a lot of these. I think it's the shift over time is really at least before we see autonomous cars, which will happen, but are not happening anytime soon. We will see photo enforcement.
Yeah, there's a lot of that coming out
in
now.
Europe, and that's I actually wanted to go. The first question, because I was just doing Europe adventure drives, I drove across Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy.
They got a lot of photo radar out there.
Which is, all of it is basically photo enforcement. I only saw, in all of those countries and almost 2,000 miles of driving, I only saw one actual police officer shooting laser
Yeah.
in, I don't even remember where it was. I think Austria, actually. Everywhere else was photo enforcement. Switzerland, you know, is possibly the most beautiful country in the world.
That's gorgeous.
The trade-off is that it has the most aggressive, you know, driving enforcement laws, period.
Aren't there tickets like based on your income?
Well,
So if you're
over a
super
certain
rich-
point.
Okay.
At every level, a ticket in Switzerland is fuck all expensive.
Really?
Yes, every level. The biggest ticket I've ever gotten in my life was in Switzerland. It was €1,000 for 19 kilometers.
19 kilometers?
Yeah. Someone on Adventure Drives did a very dumb thing, which was make a U-turn in one of those tunnels.
Oh.
They have like long ass tunnels through mountains, and someone literally made a U-turn in the tunnel. Was caught on camera because there's cameras everywhere.
Oh, it's on camera.
And the fucking cops show up at the hotel. Like
Oh.
this dude doesn't get pulled over.
Wow.
This cops follow
They're
him
monitoring.
from the tunnel to the hotel.
Wow.
Show up at the hotel and demand to see the driver of the orange Lamborghini and fine him. I believe the number was €6,000. They don't fuck around in Switzerland, dude.
Wow.
You do not. I'm telling you, radar cruise control. I rented an Audi S7, lovely car.
I saw that, yeah.
Radar cruise control in Switzerland. You know, it's painful. You're driving across Switzerland. You're talking about 300K at 60K an hour, which is like
35,
it's
40,
like
something like that.
40.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe 100K an hour, which is 60. You're like exhausted after doing that. It's even with radar cruise control, you're like falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But then you get the Alps, which has no enforcement.
So you just enjoyed the music.
The mountains, no, you can drive fast on the mountain passes.
Oh, that's
There's no
cool.
photos up there. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the trade-off. But it's just the most beautiful country in the world. So the first question was about, do we see undercover speed enforcement in Europe versus back home? In the countries I was in, I saw 0 undercover speed enforcement. I saw cameras and 1 marked cruiser. If we consider going to the UK and filming one takes, I would love to go to the UK. I have an offer for crazy cars in the UK. The UK is unfortunately one of the top 3 most expensive places globally that I could go to film. And so to make a business case for it is very hard. However, if anyone, for any reason, flies me to the UK for work, I will stay and film some videos. Literally, I could go to the UK and film an XJ220.
That'd be cool.
Which would be great. But that's like, you know,
Just for that?
3 days of flying and, you know, and all that for one video. Okay. Here's a radar question. Are the V1s still one of the better detectors on the market, even though they don't have GPS like some others?
I'd say
opinion?
so. I think they're more of an enthusiast detector nowadays. I don't.
Enthusiast detector. That's funny. It's
Yeah.
like the E30 of detectors. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like people use it because it's a classic.
Yeah, like it's not the easiest to use. Like we were looking at the programming, and yeah, you've got the dial, and you got to know that it's okay, arrow up and down. Like there's other detectors that have similar capabilities. They're easier to use. They have more features like the Max 360. I think that's a better general purpose detector. But for somebody who's like an enthusiast, we tend to prefer the V1s. Like it's just such a refined, well-built detector.
Yeah.
You don't have the bugs that you're dealing with some of the other
There
ones.
are no
and
bugs.
It's at this point, it's
I've
amazing.
never even heard of one really acting.
They do
well,
kind of
actually,
error
that's not
out
true.
sometimes.
I've heard of someone acting up and we sent it back in service and it was fine.
Yeah, they will sometimes error out. I've had that happen, but otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a great enthusiast detector.
It's so funny the word enthusiast detector to me is hilarious.
Yeah.
Of all the cars on Adventure Drive, which one would I have taken if I could have been in any of them, and which was the weirdest one there? So the thing with having an event in Europe that's really for Americans is only 2 people actually shipped cars there. Everyone else rented. Exotic rentals and luxury rentals in Europe are fairly reasonable compared to in America.
Yeah, here they're expensive.
Yeah, so in America, you want 2 days and a 488 like a weekend, you're probably talking about $6,000.
Right.
In Europe, that gets you in one for a week.
That's much better.
So it's actually better. So a lot of there was like a bunch of 48s and Huracans and stuff on this event that people just rented. and of all the cars there, like, so it was like 48s Huracans, there was a 458, there was two Bentley GTs, and an R8, and F types, two or three 911s, like stuff you'd expect. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing wonky.
Fun times.
JF was there, my friend JF. He rented an S6 wagon,
Cool.
which was pretty cool. I rented an S7, which is the same car, just with a different body on it, and I thought it was lovely, and I was perfectly happy with, if you're doing that kind of, everyone who rented a Huracan, like, came up to me and they were like, yo, like, I might trade this for like something else, like, because Huracans are great for like a couple hours, like everyone was like, they're hard, hard to do that many miles in, and they're just not that comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
The R8 is much better if you want kind of the same experience, but it was so funny to see. It was like some people's like first rally type event, and you bring a supercar to your first rally, and then you bring a GT car or like a big super saloon sedan kind of thing, to your next one.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort. Okay, how much do paint color and reflective surfaces actually matter with laser? Is my black car meaningfully better off against laser than a white one?
It used to be. With older laser guns, yeah, but with newer ones, they can get reflections. You can point at a tree and get a distance reading like that. I mean, you can point it at any part of the car at this point. It used to be like the grille and the headlights or taillights, or the plates or the target areas, which is true because they're the most reflective. You can point a laser gun, a modern one, at any part of the car and it'll get a reading. So paint color, trying to use plastic dip in your grille, and that kind of stuff, it doesn't really help anymore.
What about size of vehicle?
Size of vehicle will make it easier. Especially like a car for laser that's like the back of the car is usually easier to get a reading off of because it's a big kind of reflective perpendicular target, whereas the front's usually more angled like
more
this.
More wedge-shaped.
So wedge-shaped, so especially
unless you're in like an F-250 Platinum King
you got
Ranch,
something like
and
that.
it's like a fucking big,
it's so
big
easy.
lunch tray coming
and then it's like you need a bunch of jammers on there and you're fine, but yeah, what do you need, like a 12-pack? Usually actually about 3 of them will get by. 2 for smaller cars, 3 for bigger ones. I've seen people do that though, just cover them.
Yeah. Someone wants to know, can we trust reviews from Radar Roy's website? RadarDetector.org, do you know that person?
Yes, I do.
Can you trust his reviews?
You want the honest answer?
Sure.
He's one of the reasons that I got into making videos and testing because I saw his videos and I wasn't really happy with it.
Okay.
So he's passed away now, but so he primarily promotes escort detectors.
You can't speak ill of the dead.
I know, right? So he never liked the V1 because he couldn't sell it. And so he would always kind of put it down and say, here's why
he couldn't sell it?
He couldn't make a profit. Well, so yeah, Valentine only sells direct. You can only go to Valentine's.
So this guy's got a fucking store and gets cuts?
He does. So he sells radar detectors for a living, and he makes videos teaching you about it. So there's a lot of questionable information because financially, and I mean, I'm incentivized to recommend one or another, but I will still happily recommend detectors that I don't get paid on.
All right, what are you incentivized to recommend?
So then anything that sells on like Amazon, for example, Amazon affiliate links.
Oh, okay.
Or some companies, like I've got deals with them where
I'm going to give you a pass. I'm going to give you, not that I'm the ethical king, but I will give you an ethical pass on Amazon affiliate.
Yeah, and like
it's just, a lot of people do Amazon affiliate, and you can buy some on Amazon affiliate.
Yeah. And you can even buy a V1 on Amazon, but you'll pay more than full retail, and you'll get no warranty.
Oh.
And so
what, are you buying a refurb one from someone else?
So Valentine only ships to a couple. They ship to the U.S. and 3 provinces in Canada.
Yeah.
And so if you want one outside, you have to go through somebody else who resells. So
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say by far the most annoying thing about the Valentine one is actually getting it.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, in the modern era, to not have an Amazon store or whatever, seems a little behind the times.
And it can be tough to get a tracking number from them, and yeah, they could upload that.
They've shown up when I've bought them.
That helps.
But it was old school as fuck.
It is, yeah.
Last question: is there any effective way to guard against instant on from police heading the opposite direction? So do you want to just give us a quick primer on, or give the audience a quick primer on instant on?
Instant on, yeah.
And then is there any way to?
Yeah, so a lot of radar detector companies will like to advertise we can detect the latest instant on guns, which I always thought was kind of silly. The idea is a radar gun, it's transmitting, and what officers will try to do is to prevent radar detector users from getting advanced warning, they'll turn off their radar gun. And then when they see somebody up ahead who's speeding, they'll turn on their radar gun, lock in the speed, and the detector user gets no advance warning.
AKA a cop working,
a cop
sitting.
Exactly. A cop who's actively, and that's a technique that they can use to try to defeat radar detectors.
Yeah.
And
if you get me with instant on, I'm not even mad.
Yeah.
Because you were working.
You were working for
and you tried it, and you got me. I'm not even mad.
Exactly.
Have you ever congratulated a cop for getting you?
It's like, that was a good shot. You come around a bend and it's like you're toast.
I
You're
swear
like,
to God, have you ever congratulated a cop for getting
I've never
you?
congratulated. Well, I'm getting upset.
It actually feels pretty good. They get really happy. Like,
They do.
I did not get let off, but I got a drastic reduction for like, thing went off, like he got me before he'd even put his car in drive. I was
You're already on the shoulder.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, your hiding spot and your timing. I mean, bravo. I was like, you got me. That was good.
Yeah.
And he was like, thank you very much, sir.
That's a cool way to approach it. I like that.
It's fine. He had me. What's he gonna do? We're not gonna put up a fight with the guy. Fuck off.
Yeah. So like, what's the trick? How do you avoid that? So there's kind of two tricks to it. The main thing is having a rabbit ahead of you. So somebody else that you're following. So they're going to be the ones drawing fire.
In most cases, this rabbit is going to be a stranger.
Yes, you're using
unless
a stranger.
if you are a super baller and you have a rabbit ahead of you everywhere.
Yeah, which you're not always going to have. So you kind of have to like. Sometimes it's riskier at night with no rabbits. What are you going to do? So it's ideally having a rabbit and a really sensitive detector, so you're picking up instant on ahead.
And then it's brake lights.
Brake lights, that kind of stuff. So it's like a combination of tools.
But actually, without a rabbit, not really. Actually, I'll give you a way to defend it.
Yeah.
The S7 I just drove, as well as many other cars I've tested or whatever. Night vision cameras. Audi has a thermal camera now that's meant to be a pedestrian safety thing.
You can see cops on the shoulder.
You can see a car with an idling engine behind a tree.
I've seen people actually installing thermal cams in their cars for this exact reason.
Alex Roy did that shit back in the day for the M5. I'm not sure it actually helped him with anything, but it was fucking cool at the time.
It is. I love that stuff.
Now Audi's got a full digital gauge cluster, so you flip that bitch on, and your whole gauge cluster is a night vision camera.
That'd be really nice. You don't have to like look over to the side.
Oh no, it's amazing.
That sounds really cool.
Super good. Yeah.
And the cameras are getting better and better, so
it works better, I think, when it's cold and clear. Cold, dry air. It works the best because a hot engine would be the biggest contrast.
A big contrast to it, yeah.
That was the best, but supposedly it's for pedestrians and deer. Yeah. But it also helps if you happen to have a hidden engine.
And that's the thing. It's like people think, oh, I get a radar detector and now I'm bulletproof from tickets, and it's like, no. There's multiple different techniques. There's different tools, and you can't get totally immune from them, but you can kind of help between the odds in your favor.
Do any other detectors out there? Do you have to like learn the language like you do with V1, or is it they all kind of have with a display? It's a little.
They do a little bit better of making it easier for you, but the V1 it's kind of learning the language, and it's also just listening to the ramp up and like the sounds. You can kind of associate that with what's going on with the world ahead of you. Okay. And it makes it really easy just to kind of correlate the sounds with the road ahead and figure out is he over the hill, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can do it without
if you go up and over a hill, the sound comes and goes, and you can kind of see. Oh, if it goes away, maybe it's a certain hiding place.
Yeah, and the V1 does a really good job of that.
Yeah. This was interesting. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Ariel from Vortex Radar. Why do I keep saying Radar Vortex? My brain is turning it backwards. VortexRadar.com.
That's me.
Vortex Radar on Instagram. What else do you want to plug?
Twitter. Yeah, the main thing is YouTube and website. That's where I'm the most active.
And you just want to search for Vortex Radar on
if you find it. Yeah, my YouTube username is TravelCam1111. YouTube doesn't let you change that, which is annoying. But if you search Vortex Radar on YouTube, you'll find it.
Lesson for other prospective YouTubers out there.
Yes, make sure you're 100% sure when you set your username for YouTube.
You really want to do that. And but thanks for coming, man. This was a good, interesting discussion. I appreciate it. And thanks for coming out. And we're going to break. I'm going to sell some real estate. We're going to come back, and I've got an interview with a really interesting gentleman named Roger Donaldson, who is the director of a new documentary called McLaren, about Bruce McLaren, which is it's a really cool documentary. Roger Donaldson was also the director of a movie called The World's Fastest Indian with Anthony Hopkins, which is an awesome movie. And we have a good discussion about Kiwis in motorsport and Bruce McLaren, and stick around. We'll be right back. Done.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thanks, live stream guys.
Hey, what's up, live guys?
I hope you enjoyed that show. I just gave you that show for free, motherfuckers. This show isn't going up until next week. We just gave you one.
Nice little preview.
We just gave you one. Is it more than 41? Let's see. What's our retention?
So we are at 38 people now.
38. We lost.
Cool.
We
lost 38. Cool.
They had to go to the bathroom.
Said thanks from Functional Doc.
Tanked it at the end.
Yeah. So cool. All right, I'll stop it. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Finish.
All right.